Hello and welcome back to Socks and Sandals. And I'm not really the type of person to judge a game based on its value, but I do find it interesting to see how much, like, what the most expensive game is on a console. So today, what I've decided to do is take the most expensive game I have for each console that I own and just talk about the value and how much I paid for it and whether or not I think it's actually worth that. So we're going to start cheapest to most expensive, and yeah, let's just get into it. So the first game at a whopping, and these are all based on price charting. I really don't know how price charting determines how much a game is worth, because comparing prices from like price charting to what they're currently selling on eBay, it's often skewed. So take all of this with a grain of salt. A few of these I don't think they're worth what they're going for, but you know, whatever. So first up, at a whopping $9.99 on price charting is Goosebumps Horrorland. This is actually a game I bought recently. This is on the Nintendo Wii. I believe it also had a PS2 release, but I was at the Red Barn and just, it really wasn't even on a shelf. It was just kind of sitting there. I'm a big Goosebumps fan, so I was like, you know what? I'll get it. Nathan actually bought it for me. Yeah, Goosebumps Horrorland. I don't really ever have intentions to play this. I don't know. It looks like a Mario Party clone or something. Maybe judging by that little screenshot there with the vampires, it might be an on-rail shooter. I don't know. But just because it's Goosebumps, I bought it. And next up for PC, at $10.47, we have Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. This isn't actually my most expensive game on PC. That is Tomb Raider Chronicles, but I bought the PC version of Tomb Raider Chronicles because I had a loose disc for Tomb Raider Chronicles for the PlayStation, and I didn't feel like paying $10 to get the case and game when I've already got the game, so I paid $5 for the PC copy, which apparently, according to price charting, which there's that skew thing, it's worth $26. So I didn't include that because I technically don't have a complete copy of the PC version. But yeah, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. I bought this for the poster here. You can see it. It's the only reason I bought it, because I already have this version on 360. So I found this at Half Price Books, and it still had the poster in it, so I picked it up. And we kind of jump up drastically from this point on. So Xbox One at $34.99 is Alan Wake Remastered, which that's pretty much the price this game sold as when it came out. Maybe increased by $5, because I think when this came out it was $30, like $29.99. But I don't know, for whatever reason, the remastered versions of this have held their value. The PS5 version as well, or is it, I guess, would it technically be PS4? It says Xbox One and Series X on it, but most Series X games, like when they're strictly for Series X, they've got this green little spine on it. And then where it can be played on Xbox One will just say Xbox on the spine. So the PS4, it might be PS4 and could just be played on PS5. I don't know. I have it on the Xbox, but there's that. I have played this. I actually have a full playthrough on the channel of me playing it with Nathan present, because he's never played the Alan Wake game, so I just showed it to him. So next up for the Nintendo Switch at $42.95, according to price charting, is Danganronpa Decadence. And so this is like, this and Senran Kagura Peach Ball are the only reasons I bought a Switch. Because, so I don't know if it's on PlayStation, this Decadence version that includes, what is it? Ultimate Summer Camp. I don't think it's on PlayStation. I think it's exclusive to the Switch as far as like physically owning it. But yeah, when I sold my Switch, I accidentally left my copy of this game in it. So I had the case for the longest time, and then I had to just buy a loose cartridge, which I ended up spending $32 just for the cartridge. So I've way overpaid for this game. So next up for Series X, we had at $44.97, which is kind of just underwhelming. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I ended up paying like $80 for this because I've said it in a previous video. When I bought it at GameStop, they added on the protection plan or whatever the heck it's called, and didn't tell me. They just added it on there. They didn't even ask. But I didn't notice until I'd already got out in the car with the receipt. Granted, I could have gone back in and probably had him remove it and like give me a refund and then just charge me the game, but whatever. So next up for PSP at $50.92 is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. So this is the PAL version. I think I actually bought this. I bought it off of eBay, and I think it came from Spain. For whatever reason, like, as you can see, everything on the back is still in English. The game plays in English. I actually played this. That's the whole reason I bought it, because I wanted to play it. But for whatever reason, the PAL version is like $30 cheaper than the North American version, even though it still plays in English. Like, the PSP isn't region locked, so you could play any game from any territory on it. But like I said, I don't really care if you're going to, like, if you want to play Silent Hill Shattered Memories and you have a PSP, check out the PAL versions because they're significantly cheaper than North America. All because of just a different fucking rating on it. Like, I don't think the gameplay's any different. Like I said, it's in English, so you could still understand what's going on. Whatever, there you go. And then, I can't remember, I think I ended up, I overpaid. According to what it's worth, I overpaid for it, because I paid $80, and the manual is like that. But, it was an okay Silent Hill. Kind of a different play style, but it's basically a remake of the first game. So next up for PS5 at $54.99, and that's mostly because this game is still relatively new. It's Stellar Blade, the one wrought with all of the controversy or whatever. I have played this a little bit. I've probably only played about an hour of it. I do still have the code in here for some outfit that I haven't used, but I like it. It's like a Souls-like. It's like mixed between Dark Souls and Nier Automata. You've got the stylishness of Nier Automata and the combat style of Dark Souls, but I like it okay. One of these days I'll get back around to actually finishing it. You know, when I win the lottery and don't have to work anymore. So, for PS2 at $56.50 is a loose copy of the first Fatal Frame. So, I bought this, I want to say, 2019 for $30 loose. I believe at that time a complete copy was $60. And I did not want to pay $60 for a game that came out, I don't know, when did this game come out? Does it say? 2002. So at that time, if it was 2019, so that's like 17 years ago. So, well, now here I am with a loose copy, and I believe like the case is just $50 by itself. So, there you go. But I have played this. Back on the original Socks and Sandals, this was our first playthrough. It's a pretty cool game. I like it. It like opened my eyes to the other Fatal Frames. I've since played Maiden of Blackwater because it used to be a Wii U game, but it got re-released on PS4 and Xbox One and I think Switch. But I haven't played 2 or 3 yet, and I still need to play, is it Curse of the Moon or something like that? Something to do with the moon. But yeah, I liked Fatal Frame. And then for PS4 at $64.30 is a Japanese only game, and this is Natsuedo High School, and then I don't know what the rest of that says. That is the full title, is that. But I just call it Natsuedo High School. This is it's kind of like a Persona game, but just the school stuff. It's pretty much any girl in the school is a heroine that you can form a relationship with. And that's why I wanted this. I actually, so the Kohai character there, I followed a guide in Japanese translated into English via Google Translate, poorly translated, so a lot of the times I didn't really understand what I needed to do, but I was able to actually complete her route, so that was cool. But yeah, I can't remember what I paid for it. I think like $30, brand new off of Amazon.co.jp or however it is. But yeah, it's strange that I guess because it's such a unique game, that even though it is an import, it's valuable here in the States. So next up for the 3DS at $64.31 is Hatsune Miku Mirai DX. And this one I do know exactly how much I paid for it because I have the receipt in here. I bought this game for $18.95 at Game Exchange. And it's now $64.31. Exactly 1 cent more than Natsuedo High School. I have played this. I was trying to... This is about like the only 3DS game that I've completed. I was trying to... It's a rhythm game if you don't know what Hatsune Miku is. But I was trying to get 100% on all of the songs. I got pretty close, but there are a few that are just physically impossible for me. But I like this game. This was, I believe, the first Hatsune Miku game I played. I then bought the version on PS4 and played that as well. I like Hatsune Miku. I like the music. Plus, it's a rhythm game, so. Next up, for PS3, probably one of, like, the coolest games, in my opinion, that I've bought. At $78.08 is Yakuza Dead Souls. So, I bought this at Founded Electronics. It'll eventually be in a pickups video. Brand new. Like, it was still sealed when I bought it. And they charged they wanted $100 for it. I took in a bunch of stuff to trade in, and I ended up buying it. I think I've still got the receipt in here. Yep. I ended up buying it for $79.67. So it's gone down in value, but like I said, I didn't buy it just to have value. It's Yakuza. Like I've seen this online, but it's the PAL version. I didn't even know this was released in North America. But I like the Yakuza games, and one of these days I'll get around to playing this one. I hear it's not good, but like I said, I like the Yakuza game. Next up, for the original Xbox at $87.51, speaking of Fatal Frame, is Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Directory. I did pay, retail value for this. It has a little cut in the manual there. But the first Fatal Frame and this one are the only ones that got released on the original Xbox. I may buy the first Fatal Frame on Xbox because I think it's cheaper than the PS2 version, which is strange because it plays better than the PS2 version. But that way I can just have both of the games that got released on original Xbox on the original Xbox. Fatal Frame 3 was exclusive to PlayStation, and that one is like $100 and something. I've just bought that digitally on the PS3 store, so that's how I'm going to play that one, because I don't know if I'm going to pay $100 for another video game. We'll get to one that I have paid more than $100 for, but yeah. One of these days... And so, before I move on, I found out that this is backwards compatible on the 360. If you put this in your 360, you can play it. That's just crazy to me. I was watching a video, and someone was talking about that they were like going through their original Xbox collection to see which ones were actually backwards compatible on the 360. I just realized that I've just been staring at the screen, so I don't know if I've actually been making eye contact with the camera. Yeah, so I can actually capture gameplay footage of this because I can just play it on the 360 and be able to capture, because the original Xbox is AV only. So we're down to the last three consoles that I own. And next up is GameCube at $88.06 is Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem. So my manager, when I worked at Life Storage, gave this to me. And the disc is in my Wii because that's where I wanted to play it. I have yet to actually play this though, but as opposed to buying a GameCube, I just bought a Wii because they're cheaper and they play GameCube games. So, but my manager at Life Storage just gave this to me. And at that time, I think it was like $60. So it wasn't a cheap game. It wasn't nothing. And I told him, I was like, you could probably sell that. And he's like, nah, you can have it. He also gave me a GameCube, but the GameCube didn't work. So, and I only just noticed it didn't have the manual in it, but again, I don't really care about that stuff. As long as it's got the artwork and the game works. That's really all you need, right? You're not going to be opening this up and reading through the manual. I mean, I'm not anyways. So, next up, which is the fucking craziest thing, is Xbox 360. At $112.73, which technically this isn't, I mean, I don't think it's worth that anyways, but my copy isn't worth that. I don't know how much it's worth because price charting doesn't let you subtract, the stuff that's supposed to be included in it, but it's Bullet Witch. $112.73 for this. This game is like janky. It is nowhere near worth that. But my copy it's not worth that, but if I was trying to resell it or whatever, I wouldn't. First off, this case isn't an official 360 case. Which really doesn't matter. I have plenty of them. I could replace it, but I don't have the poster. I do have the manual, but it's supposed to come with a poster, which I don't know if that's why it's so expensive. I haven't checked on eBay for listings without the poster. But yeah, as you can see, it says on the side there, exclusive poster included. But yeah, this is not worth $112. I got this from Double Jump Games. They had a random box you can purchase, and I think like the first little tier was like $40, and you just tell them what games you collect for and whether or not you want quantity over quality. And I was like, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, original Xbox, and no sports games. And they sent me one game, and it was this. At the time, it was like one of the most expensive games for the 360, and it was $30-something. And now it's $112. Like, what the hell is that? I am glad that I own it. Like, I owned it before it went up. It was a cool game to receive randomly. I'm like, oh, I've never even heard of that, and there it is. But yeah, I'm glad I own it now, because this is something that if I like saw the cover, I would want to buy. Not at $112. I would just have to like be content with my life of not owning it. Honorable mention, One Chanbata is $108, which is also another game. I mean, I bought it because of the cover. I paid $14.99 for this at Half Price Books, and it's now $108. Again, another game that is not worth $108. Do not pay $108 for this game. It is like, first off, it's backwards compatible on the Series X and Xbox One, and I think you can buy it on there for $19.99. So I saw this at Half Price Books. It's like, $14.99, I really don't feel like paying. So I went home and looked and saw that it was available for download on the 360. He's like, oh, maybe it's cheaper. And it was $19.99. I was like, I'll go back and buy that. And I did. Don't pay $108 for this game. Just buy the digital version. I've played some of this. I've played maybe the first 2 stages of this. Yeah, you get to look at like damn near naked women, but hell, that's fucking free on the internet. So maybe this stuff will calm down once the actual store closes down. I don't know if a lot of these prices are like artificially inflated. It's just when I scan new games into CLZ, I'll update my price charting, and it's just like Bullet Witch and One Chanbata just keep going up and up and up. And I'm like, I don't get it. Games that I can understand, like, you can't play it anywhere else. Like Bullet Witch, it may be janky, but you can only play it on the 360. Yeah, it says on the thing, only on 360. So I can somewhat understand why the price is increased for that. Because it's not available on the store, so it makes sense. Which, I mean, I don't understand why, like, when the store is closing down, people start buying this. Because it's always been only available elsewhere. I don't think you can buy this digitally. I don't think you ever could. Maybe once the store closes down, a lot of these prices will go down. Thankfully, a lot of my Xbox 360 collection, I already have, like, a lot of the heavy hitters. And the ones that, like, Coldcept Saga or whatever, Operation Darkest Days, I just don't care to get. So I'm pretty content on, there are like a few games that I want to get, but they're nowhere near the $100 mark. All right, so the last game that we have for this list is for the original PlayStation, and it's valued on price charting at $180, and that is Clock Tower 2. So you may be thinking, well, that looks like a complete copy of Clock Tower 2. You've got the case, you've got the manual. Well, this is a reproduction artwork and everything. The manual is just the front and inside thing. It's not the full booklet. And I set it at 180 because of that, because it's reproduction. So basically, it's a loose disc just in a case. I bought this off of eBay for $160. It is the most expensive game I've ever bought. I think if you have it complete, it's like $300 and something. I believe I looked, and it's not available digitally on PlayStation, because if it was, that's where I would have bought it. I do want to play. I want to play all of the Clock Tower games. Clock Tower 1 is getting a remaster and is being released via limited run. Hell, maybe after that, I guess if it's successful enough, maybe Clock Tower 2 will get a remaster as well. I think it's the original Clock Tower 1, because Clock Tower 1 that was released in North America is technically Clock Tower 2 in Japan. So, but who knows? Yeah, I want to play this again one of these days. At $160, I thought, you know what? I guess this is where they got me with FOMO. I was like, I don't think I'll ever see it for $160. I haven't looked since because I owned it. I own it, so I really have no need to continue looking for it. But yeah, that is the most expensive game I have ever bought. I remember going to a game store in Waco. It was a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago, and found that in the store for $50. It's like, man, that's expensive for a PS1 game. Again, the game came out. Let's see, is it going to tell me on this? In 90... Can't tell if that's 96 or 98. Let me see, I think the disc will also say it. 98. So this game came out in 1998. I was 4 years old when this game came out. So I was like, man, that like $50 for a game that came out 20-something years ago. I'm not doing that. And now look at me. Paid nearly 3 times that. So, well, a little more than 3 times that. But yeah, so those were just a game from each of my collection that has some just number attached to it. Like I said, I don't really care how much a game is worth. I don't really ever intend to resell any of this. That was that. If you like little collection update videos like this, I'll post them every now and again. I have a thing where I've been keeping track of all of the games I've purchased throughout 2024. So I post little pickup video things. So if you're into this sort of stuff, consider subscribing. I'll probably do another one of like going through each collection and just doing like the top 10 expensive games in the collection or whatever. I don't know. It seems that people like this sort of stuff based on what YouTube recommends that I watch. If you like the video, leave a like. If you have any of these games, leave it down in the comments down below. But other than that, check back next time for whatever I do. Bye-bye.